Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Snoddy, and I'm here to talk to you about the innovation of virtual learning from a three-dimensional perspective. Now you may say, we do that already. We already have Zoom. We already have the online learning courses. But that is not what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of the ability to immerse everyone in the same environment to where the learning becomes real and the actual contact between the students, the teachers, and the environment becomes universally experienced. So what am I saying exactly? I'm saying this. I'm saying for me to have the ability to come up to you and look you right in the eye and say you're doing a great job. The ability to come in and explain a problem to you eye to eye. The ability to move around my environment so that you can see what I'm speaking of even though you're not there actually. The ability for me to interact with my environment and have you interact with the environment too. The ability for me and you to experience a whole wide environment, regardless of where you're located, regardless of what the actual situation is. You and I are now interacting in the same environment, and you are no longer imprisoned by that two-dimensional world of Zoom, but rather it is a personal experience now between facilitator and student, to where you can see me, you can see my reaction, and you understand where I'm coming from, and you're able to grow mentally because now we have that eye-to-eye contact that is needed between facilitator and student. So, what exactly is VR? Well, VR is many things. VR can be avatars. VR can be 3D holographic imaging. But in this case, it's going to be 3D learning in a classroom to where the student can interact with the environment and actually see the responses of his answers, of his conversations, by not only the facilitator, but the students around him as well. Innovation of this type actually reduces academic stress. It's been a very long pandemic, and the pandemic has actually kept most people away from school. They've been learning in an at-home environment. But unfortunately, what has happened is they've actually been isolated socially. They haven't been able to speak to other students in a proper way. They turn their computers and laptops on. However, what are they doing? All they're doing is they're actually turning on their laptops. They're looking at a flat two-dimensional screen, and there's no interaction. The teacher has no idea whether or not the lesson's understood, and the student has no idea whether or not the instructor knows that what is going over his head is being understood by the teacher. However, that's all developed by eye contact. Eye contact is critical in relaying feelings, relaying understanding, relaying emotions, and also creating that foundation that students need to develop a belongingness in a group, be able to understand what it is to be in a social environment. In this situation, you become part of this world. This takes away the need for feeling lonely. It takes away the need of feeling you're all by yourself. It takes away the need of feeling anxiety because you're no longer being listened to or understood because you're all alone behind that screen, possibly in the dark, with no one understanding you whatsoever. This brings us together. This allows me to show you what I'm feeling. It allows me to show you what I'm experiencing. It allows me to give you the perspective of what every student needs when dealing with a learning situation. The actual remote learning was needed for a time due to the pandemic. So this is 2021. So during this time of 2020 and starting 2021 in some locations, everyone had to isolate at home. So this was a pretty unique experience because it's only been done normally for schools that were really geared for online experiences. So people that actually go into those courses are pretty well prepared that they are going to be actually sitting behind a TV screen or a monitor. For new students, for the young who were just planning to go into school and actually develop their social circles, what they found out was instead they were stuck behind a screen. And so isolation with the students hindered the students' ability to gather, the ability to socialize, to communicate, and develop those peer-to-peer relationships that are so important for a growing young person. The pandemic really created a double situation, a double calamity actually. One, of course, was the pandemic itself, and number two was, unfortunately, the social isolation that occurred when people found themselves alone when they had no intention of ever being alone. Seems like most of the people that were affected were between the age of 18 and 25, and of course the high schoolers. Mental health was given, of course, but that still is only a reproduction of the thing that created the anxiety in the first place. That was all, again, in a two-dimensional world, a screen, and zero interaction between the student or the client and the counselor. And also, this method I'm teaching you right now, the method of interacting in a VR environment, provides the student or the client who needs that therapy a sense of control. Like right now, I'm looking right at you, but if you feel that too intense, you can quite easily just look away and look outside, look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down. You can actually see what's going on in your environment. You can control your environment. This isn't an environment that's controlling you. It's you controlling your environment. It's you having power over your environment. It's you taking control of your anxiety. It's you take control of your situation and enjoying this immersive environment and increasing your ability to learn without the burden of anxiety. Now imagine this. Imagine this Colosseum, mini Colosseum, being filled with people, left, right, above, and front. Imagine that. Imagine you behind this with perhaps a VR headset, or just watching it on YouTube with the ability to maneuver around using your mouse to scroll in, scroll out, move back and forth, up and down, full virtual environment, and being able to see all your friends, be in a crowded environment, be in a close-up environment with your privacy barriers intruded upon, but having full control of your environment. Being able to take a look at people, see them laugh, see them smile, see them look at you directly, but you have the power now to enjoy that, look away, or just scan around and pick who you want to look at, who you want to be, and how you want to feel. The power is yours in this environment. This is not a power that is to be taken lightly. This is a situation that gives you a way to acclimate back into a working environment so that one day you can be back in a situation where you are shoulders to shoulders with people when the pandemic ends. This is not a crutch. This isn't a way to substitute being in a group. This is a way to ramp yourself back from being in your home, your learning environment, whatever that might be, behind a screen, in a Zoom situation, to slowly ramp yourself back up into where you can again rejoin society and be in that situation where you feel like you belong, be in a situation where you are around people once more, be in a situation to where you feel that you can once more have that feeling of belongingness without actually feeling any more anxiety. Now, there's been a lot of made up about this, unfortunately. There has been suicide attempts. There has been acts of near desperation because without that sense of belonging, especially in the growing age, people tend to fail. So this is what I'm providing you. I'm providing you a way for you to see me as your instructor. See me in my environment. See me stumble up these stairs. Experience it with me. See this fly that's flying around my head. In real time, you can interact with this environment and you can learn. Now imagine this being a classroom versus an outdoor coliseum. Imagine being at eye level with your students around you as I teach you on this backboard or this whiteboard or this presentation, PowerPoint presentation. You're there. You're there interacting, but you're just not there physically. But you are there. Mentally, you would slowly grow into understanding that it's okay to be around people. It's okay to rejoin society. It's okay to have your barriers pushed. It's okay to rub shoulders. And this way, learning, your method of learning may be different, but it'll be much better than it is right now with the Zoom. This will allow you to learn. This will take away all the barriers that you have, that are hindering you from learning. Maybe if you're not understanding it, you can zoom in, or maybe if you're not understanding if everyone understands or everyone's like confused, look around the room. What are they saying? What are their visual cues? Is everyone nodding their head, or is everyone shrugging their shoulders like you? I'm not sure what's going on because maybe the complication is like really hindering your understanding. Take the visual cues and kind of be back in a group. Join the group again by using virtual reality headset scenario. And so what I would normally do is preach about using a VR headset. I find it to be very pleasant myself because it really puts me in the action. But there are some down effects. There's like not really heavy so much, but maybe there's some facial irritation if you wear it for a long time. But you can actually just put this on your computer and zoom around and have that same effect. You won't be fully immersed, but you'll have the effect that you're actually still within the environment. Now, this is a great way to understand how people feel within the classroom too. Because not only are you trying to acclimate yourself, but you're also trying to understand those cues that people have when they're actually in a group. The whole point of this is to understand that we're not alone. You may be behind the screen, but you're not there all alone. This method will allow you to immerse yourself in this fully rich environment we call life. Take you away from back of that screen and bring you back and give you a sense of belonging as every human should have that was robbed from you because of this pandemic. I challenge you to bring this to the forefront. Bring this innovation to the academic institutions. Bring this as a possibility to learn and find out if this method will work for you. Thank you.